Hi there, and welcome back to Settle Carlisle 68. I hope you enjoyed the intro. A little bit different this week, and obviously this is because of the WWS farming competition that I'd entered. So the update really evolves all around that. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. The intro obviously gave a bit of insight into the research that had gone on. More days out really on the Settle Carlisle Railway, which I always enjoy visiting, and then obviously you saw the photographs of my my actual entry. So yeah, how did I go on? The winning competition entry was announced on a live stream on the 25th of August, so it's a bit of a distant memory now. And that was made by Craig of Northern Rails 44, Sam of Peaks 47, and Martin, who's the MD of WW Scenics. So they made the announcement, and much to my surprise, I was announced as the winner, which I was well chuffed about. Yeah, I think one of the main reasons that they gave was the level of detail on the Engage farm that I'd done, which is you can see behind me. So we're going to go into a little bit more detail and give you sort of a video show round of the farm. So hopefully they'll get a bit more insight of how I undertook the modelling of the farm. So yeah, it was a very pleasant surprise because I'd really enjoyed doing the farm scenics over the 3 weeks with some late nights, to be honest, and long days. So yeah, it was the icing on the cake really. And to top it off, I obviously got some prizes, which I'll just show you. But yeah, I was really pleased to win because the standard of modelling from the other entries was phenomenal, to be fair. And to be honest, my personal favourite was Andy's Moorland Farm of Moorland Model Railway, and go check out his YouTube channel. He's put a video on there of how he prepared and did his farm. So a shout out for Andy. Say I was blown away with his model farm that he did. So he was my personal favourite. But yeah, the competition was great, and as a result, I got the prizes, which the first prize which I got in the post the other day was the plaque, which was nice to get. So that'll be taking pride of place on my my railway. And I got some of the other products that I got was the basting glue and the static grass layering spray. I've got 4 of these muds which I've not used before, so they were good. I'm going to use those on the viaduct scene and other places in the layout. And then got the 4 pots of weathering powders, my old trusty weathering powders. And then a product that I've not seen before, which I'm going to be using on the layout. I got this sand basing set. So you can see there lots of different stones and textures. Probably could have done with that actually when I was doing the farm. So that's really good. And then some additional stuff. Got some red fine rocks and some double O products, which yeah, I probably won't be able to. Well, I won't be able to use on my layout, but some of the WW Scenic pigs and piglets. So they've just come out. And then there was the Dutch barn, which looks a fantastic product. Everything's in there. So I'm probably going to find a new home for those, which I'll come on to either later in the video or the next video, because we're approaching sort of 500 subscribers now, and it'll be video 20. So I'm going to run a competition, and I think some of the items behind me I'm going to use as prizes as well. I spoke to Martin about that, and he was happy for me to do that, so that's going to be the plan. So yeah, without further ado, we shall go over to the farm and just run through some of the highlights and how I modelled the farm. Okay, so we'll move over there now. Okay, so we're at the layout, and as you can see, the farm diorama in its entirety. Just to give you an idea of the size, from these trees over here across to the trees at the other side, I think you can just about make them out. That's 24 inches or 60 centimetres long, and from the bridge to the railway banking is around 12 inches or 30 centimetres, so not a massive size or space to work in, but we managed to get or cram quite a bit in there. So we've obviously got the farmyard itself, and then the three fields as well as. So I was pleased with what I managed to sort of cram in, and the way it all sort of panned out really in the end. It all looks like it all flows from one part of the diorama to the next. So yeah, was really pleased with how it turned out. So yeah, what work did it sort of entail? I suppose the first part of the task was to lay out the areas. So I split it into the three fields and the farmyard, and I also wanted to include the buildings that you see on the layout. So we had the dairy, milking barn, the barn for storing the hay and the straw, the main farmhouse building, which I wanted to base on the Raven Seat farmhouse, which I think I've got reasonably close to that, and then the workshop from the same farm, and then I added this small stable building here, and then we've got, you can probably make that in the distance, this derelict building, which I sort of put in there quite late in the diorama process. After going on the Settle and Carlisle line, I spotted one in a field and thought that'd look quite good. So yeah, overall it's come together well, I think. And the 5 buildings are all scratch built. I've never scratch built any buildings previously. They're either kits or the Metcalf cardboard kits. So the one that the farmhouse was based upon is this. So I'd use this as sort of a template. You'll see the windows are in the same places, etc. But apart from that, it's and I use the windows for the farmhouse as well. So yeah, that was the basis for the scratch built buildings. I had to come up with a process for painting this Yorkshire stone, I guess, and to also make it look quite dirty as well and weathered. So that was another challenge. And then also I used new techniques for the farmyard and the road. And I basically started off by applying sort of a fine sand, which I stuck down with PVA of that, I then used, well, then painted that with a sort of a Tamiya paint, dark yellow. So that gave the base with the painted sand, and then I went over that with a combination of the good old faithful concrete dust and the light earth, so they give a good foundation. For the actual top coat, so the final layer, was I use this Vallejo acrylic thick mud. So at the time, this appeared to be sort of the best colour match for what I was using with the sandy colour. So I don't know if you can make it out. It's like a textured sort of muddy paint that you apply, and I also use that in the field entrances as well, near the gates for the mud. So yeah, that was the main basis for the farmyard and the buildings. And I had the challenge of doing the fields, which I used the WW Scenics static grasses. So each of these fields is slightly different, but it's generally made up of 3 to 4 different types of grasses. So I usually start with the 2mm muddy, and then on top of that I then use a mixture of summer or North Euro 2mm, mixing potentially, like in this area here, there's some longer 4mm dead grass, and then I finally, different levels, I then went over with the static grass layering sprays for all of these build-ups, and then I used the final coat was the 2mm meadow grass. So yeah, it gave the desired effect of that sort of August colour of grasses that you see in the fields, which I'd seen on my obviously seen on my days out as well. So yeah, that was the basis. Then obviously using lots of different methods and products for the bushes. I'd used the WWS tufts. I think they're 4mm dead tufts here and here, and then I'd also used some yellow, very fine yellow scatters for the buttercups that I put on there. So yeah, all in all, it was quite a challenge. So I'll just have a tour around, a close up, and then you can see what I've actually done. I've actually added some other scenes since the competition. I've changed a few minor things because I didn't quite get to finish them off, and you'll see those as we just go around the scene. So it all started at the barn, really. That was the first model, scratch built model that I put together. So since the competition entry, I've added some more weeds down here near the barrel and the pallet, and I've also put some scatter up the side of the wall of the barn to represent some ivy growth. And then round the back of the barn, as you can see now, I've put quite a lot of farm rubbish that you would normally see. So there's some barrels in the corner, some chopped up wood from a dead tree, there's rusty corrugated metal, some wooden posts, so they're made from cut up sort of matchsticks, and rusty metal sort of gate there, and then there's even some dry stone wall rocks there, stones. So quite a combination, and some weeds and typical mess and stuff. So I'm going to keep probably adding to that area. Moving along, I've also changed this a little bit. I don't remember from the entry, there was the man you see there with a red bob hat on, loading up the pallet of animal feed sack. So I've actually moved the pallet inside the barn, and so I've put the man on a thin plastic. You can see it on a base, so you can actually move the people around. Because especially with the engaged people, they're quite difficult to glue down on some of the surfaces. And then I've also weathered up the hay bale maker machine as well, put a bit more weathering on there. So with all these things, the tractor and the hay bale machine, I did some research to make sure they were used in the 1960s when this is based. So I found photographs and information online, so that was good to see. And these are Oxford die-cast models. And then onto the stables. So that was all scratch built. Used the doors from one of the ratio kits and then painted that up. All of the farm animals are all model seen, so they come plain moulded plastic finish. So I primed all those and hand painted all the horses, the cows, and also the sheep. That was quite a task. I think I was painting cows at midnight one night and it got quite taxing on the eyes, but it turned out pretty good. Again, some research on what cows are generally, didn't want to know the black and white ones, so I researched some Westmorland cows, so that's how I ended up with those particular ones, and used a photograph as a basis for the painting. So you can see the mud down there with some extra straw mixed in around the stable, and yeah, the farmer's wife feeding the horses. And then we've got the farmhouse itself. So yeah, that's come together well. Even put the curtains in the windows. Last minute sort of feature I added with these window boxes, and that was really to hide the gap between the farmyard and the building. And they're literally a matchstick painted with a wood paint texture. Then I put some green scatter on and then some flower scatter on top. I think they look pretty good actually, finish it off well. And then coming down, you can see more of the mud effect on the gates, telegraph pole there, and then I think this is one of the features on the light that I really like, and that's the moss on the barn, sorry, on the workshop roof. And I also carried that down onto the wall below, which is what I saw whilst I was at the Ravenseat farm, so it gave me a great idea. And I basically achieved that using two products, and that was the WW Scenics green moss weathering powder, and I also used the it's actually burnt grass, which is done by Woodland Scenics. So there's a combination of those two products on the roof. And then coming along, you can see the yellow scatter that I used for the flowers, and also the tufts that I used in this area to give a sort of an overgrown effect. And then this milk churn stand, this is something that I saw online that was quite common in farms up until the end of the 70s. So you'll see the photograph come up, just showing you where I got the idea for that from. Very common on dairy farms, where the trucks used to come and pick up the churns that were left by the farmer rather than having to come into the farmyard. Again, they're a model scene churns. And then we've got a phone box. I thought it was nice just to include something different on the farm scene. And that's literally out of the box. I think that's 3D printed phone box, along with the 3D printed Land Rover, which I couldn't get from Oxford die casting. They ran out completely, so this was, I found after much searching, found this one online. So I aware that it actually came in the green colour and the silver painted windows, and I just added the bit of weathering, a bit of mud, as I have on the trailer behind. And as part of the process for doing the farm, I actually extended it out to the bridge, which I've done in a similar manner to what I did with the houses. So I used the same technique, and the idea was that it would come out something like the bridge that you see in the photograph that's on the wall, which I think looks pretty similar, so I was pleased with that. And then coming across, I've added some more trees since the original entry, and I've also added some corrugated rusty metal roof panels which have fallen inside, so I added those on there as well. Some more trees at the back here, and some more trees I've added here as well on this part of the layout. And then I've also added this small cameo scene as well, where there's this fallen tree and the guy's cutting up the branches and putting them in the trailer. So originally I think I had some straw in that trailer, so I've changed that now. And then there's another muddy section of the field where the cows would take shelter under the tree, or what was the tree. And then I also extended the farm out to the embankments that you see here. So a lot of work went into to that, and getting the textures and so on into the embankment there. So again, all WWS grasses and then scatters and so on that have been put over the top. So yeah, that's the farm scene as a whole. Hopefully that's give you an insight. So yeah, we can bring it to a close. So once again, I'd just really like to thank all of the people who tune in and watch the channel, all of my subscribers. I say we're approaching the 500 mark now. We might even hit that by the time of the next video. So the two projects I'm going to be doing next, the absolute priority is get the wiring done on the layout, and then the next scenic part of the layout, be pleased to hear, is I'm going to do the viaduct scene. So I'm going to be using some of those muds that I've won as part of my competition prize, and also some water we're going to be putting down here as well. So looking forward to doing that. Okay, so we'll leave it there, and hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you've got any comments, love to read your comments, what you think of the farm, if there's anything else I can improve on there, and anything else on the layout or any videos you want to see in the future. Do you want to see some how-to videos, how I did the fields and the painting of the house, etc. If there's enough people who want that, I'll make another video because I've done all the footage. But I've waffled on enough now, and I'll hopefully see you soon for the October update. So cheerio, take care, and I will see you soon. Bye.